Hello and welcome to our Shaping the Future of Finance leadership series. Throughout, you'll watch many interviews from all of our guests that share the same thing in common. They've all navigated their journey to finance leadership in what is a very male-dominated position. At AILA, we believe in a more sustainable, diverse and inclusive world of work, and we hope these interviews bring you inspiration and motivation to continue on your journey to finance leadership.
So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our guest today, which is Victoria Torlini. So thank you for joining us, Victoria.
No problem, Aidan.
So how we like to get this started is just go through your journey to finance leadership. So do you want to talk us through, I guess, how you started in finance?
Yeah, if I go right back to basics, I decided to go to university and study business studies. I just thought I would go for sort of like a broad degree to cover a lot of different angles. I focused mainly on finance and marketing because I wasn't quite sure which area I sort of wanted to go into, so I kept my options open. Okay. Whilst I was at university, I actually worked part-time in credit control for a Ford Motor Company. So I was sort of doing that sort of side of the finance. And then I had an industrial placement year as part of my university degree at Vauxhall Motors, and I was a retail analyst there. So that's when I got quite heavily involved in like the data, all the analytics, stuff like that. So I really quite liked that. And so yeah, finished my year at university. Still, I was more swaying towards the finance side, but still keeping myself open, looking at the job market. And actually, there were a lot more jobs in finance at that time, and they paid better. Which is a bit of a sway for me too.
Of course.
So yeah, I think that's it. There's sort of a bit of a background, whilst I was at university and the job market at the time really.
Okay, cool. So then how was your career kind of developed from then, and I guess your career path really? Yeah,
so I finished university and to be honest, I did a couple of jobs I wasn't that happy in, sort of a few 9-month slots here and there. Where I really found my feet was John Lewis were holding an assessment day and they were hiring a number of accountants, part qualified accountants. And so I went along and I was successful. They asked me what role I would like and I went for the role that had a team. So I was successful in getting that role. So at the age of 24, I had a team of 3 people. It was really daunting at the beginning because I thought they would think, who is this girl coming in and how dare she tell me how to do my job and things. But actually we gelled so well and, I won them over quite quickly. So it was a very good experience. I think that's what gave me the grounding in being a manager. I was there for 4 years and whilst I was there, I was studying SEMA. Okay. I qualified while I was there. And when I had qualified, I was ready for something new, a new industry, a new company. I was looking around. I was successful in getting a job at Luxottica. They own Ray-Ban and Oakley. And I had a finance role there with a team. I had 10 people under me, so I've gone from 4 to 10. Yeah. I was looking after credit control, accounting, and FP&A. And really got a good grounding in all areas of finance and having a bigger team. I looked after the whole of North Europe for Luxottica. I was at Luxottica for about 6 years and then wanted a new opportunity and I interviewed at Deckers, where I am now. Deckers own UGG, Hoka and Teva, a footwear company. And there I became a finance director of a team of 40 people. Slowly ramped it up to where I am now.
Amazing. Really good journey.
Yeah.
So was there something that made you want to pursue a role in leadership or did it just come naturally to you? I
think, to be honest with you, I didn't, I was a teen mum. I had my daughter at 18. I think having her at 18 made me super motivated to achieve, not only for myself, but for her. I didn't want to be a statistic. People have perceptions of teen mums. And I'm one of these people, I like to prove people wrong. Cool. And so I was hungry to prove everyone wrong and work as hard as I could for her and for me. So, that's what really sort of drove me forward in wanting to achieve more.
And what an amazing job you've done, right? Team of 40, huge business you're working for, hugely successful. So I think, it's really inspirational for a lot of people. So
thank you.
And I guess, on top of that, how have you navigated your journey to leadership as not only, as you say, a teen mum, but as a woman?
I think I've been quite lucky. I know a lot of people think finance and finance leadership is a male-dominated environment, but I think maybe I've been lucky. I've chosen an industry where I've had sort of 50-50 male and female managers. So I really don't feel I've felt anything being a woman trying to succeed in finance or in business.
Okay.
In the industries I've picked. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it's a figure and a stat for a reason, right? Because it is male dominated.
Yes.
But you obviously work for businesses that clearly try to promote those that are worthy and ready, as opposed to just being a male, as an example. Yeah,
exactly. And culture is so key to me. Like walking into a business, I want to work for a culture that, wants to develop women and, any other, diversity that we have.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's touch on challenges, because I'm sure there's been challenges throughout your career. You've probably touched on one already, but I'm sure there'll be other, right? So can you share some of the biggest challenges that you faced on your journey to where you are now?
Yeah, so I think my biggest challenge, and I tell my managers this as well, is that it's really hard going from someone who's doing the work to managing the work. And I have to say, at the beginning, I was particularly bad at that. I thought I could do jobs quicker than my staff, better than my staff. I didn't trust my staff. And it was just completely wrong. I was letting myself down and my team down. So I sort of had a light bulb moment one night when I was there working till 11 p.m. at night, and sort of thought things have to change. Like I have to get better at this. And so I consciously made myself better. I actually, at the time, was going on a coaching course as well, which helped. And so, I learned that the fact that it does take time to train someone, it does take time to trust someone, but it's worth it in the end. It allowed me to elevate myself and my career and my team to develop as well. So, I think it's crucial. And I see a lot of people right now struggling with that doer to manager piece. The coaching thing is key, is investing that time in your team to allow you to then step back and get on with what you should be doing.
So is this the story of you were sat at your desk at 11 o'clock, your dad phoned you?
Yeah, my dad phoned me and he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm still at work." And he said, "Is the rest of your team still there?" And I said, "No, it's just me." And he said, "You've got a problem." And that was my light bulb moment. Nice. Things had to change.
Good. Okay. Yeah. And I'd like to touch on the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because although we're 3 years out, I might have got that wrong. I think we're about 3 years out. It's impacted a lot of us.
Yes.
All of us. How has it impacted you in your career, or your teams, and your roles, I guess?
I was really lucky. Adecas were a global business, so we saw firsthand what was happening in APAC, and getting ourselves ready and prepared for what we saw coming. I was one of the first in Decas EMEA to practice working from home, let's say. So I picked a day. We all worked from home. HR said, "Are you mad? Is there going to be anyone in the office?" I said, "No, we're going to trial this." And so we did. Things worked well. Some things didn't, like some technologies. So we had that background to be able to fix those issues. My company was very good. We locked down before government lockdowns. And so my team were prepared. We were ready. So I felt like quite good that we prepared in advance for the inevitable. Teams became my best friend. Yeah. Communication was absolutely key. We had to find a different way of collaborating together, a different way of working, being more agile. One thing that was really key for me is my team in terms of their physical wellness and their mental wellness, because it was horrible. Some people I had in my team were single people living in a flat in London, and it's a really tough time. So I tried to introduce things into the team where we would have a bit of social interaction. We did a virtual cocktail making, a virtual escape room, and we did things like we had an app where we would count our steps. So we'd set step challenges for the week and give a prize to the person that did the most steps to get us walking, getting active and doing all of that. So, there was a lot to manage. For me, looking after the whole of Europe now is that there were different things happening in different countries. So understanding what one government was doing, what the rules were in this country, when shops were allowed to be open in this country, when they were shut, when they were open again, being on top of all this government incentives, the economic repercussions that were happening in all these different European countries was huge. So yeah, just keeping myself completely aware of everything. It was tough, but I think if we can get through the pandemic, we can get through anything now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Has it been, in not the pandemic, but in terms of like the shift to now having a more balanced hybrid split of like where you work? Has that impacted your teams in a positive way?
Yeah, we actually, because it was, I have a lot of Europeans in my team. We made the decision at the beginning of lockdown to send them all home where we could, and so a lot of them have stayed where they are. We've actually decentralised some roles where we're happy to hire an Italian speaker in Italy instead of an Italian speaker in London. Like we've opened our eyes to things that we can do differently now.
Of course.
My team predominantly work 1 day in the office, 4 days at home, and it's working. And whilst it's working, I don't want to change a thing.
Absolutely.
We've been really successful, so I'm not going to rock the boat. And I think offering that makes us more competitive as a business, because I'm seeing a lot of businesses doing the opposite now and a lot of people moving. So I'm going to stay doing what I'm doing, and whilst it's working, that's what I'll do.
Good. Yeah, I think you should. We see that daily. We don't work with businesses that want people in the office 5 days a week. We haven't done since we launched. And if a company is trying to say, right, you need to be in 4 days and then 1 day at home, we just don't see an uptake for it.
Yeah.
So we also don't work with them. So it's definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. So moving on to mentors.
Yep.
What role have mentors played in your development?
I'd say my mentor or my role model is my dad, who I touched on earlier. He was in finance too, and then moved into sort of more commercial roles. He is definitely the most honest person I can go to. He'll tell me as it is. And I go to him with any sort of conundrum, whether that be work or life, and he just spells it out to me. And so it's really good to have someone that's so honest and just tells you as it is. And he supports me too. But yeah, he would be the person I would go to if I had a worry or something I was working through that I wanted to chat through with someone. Yeah.
Do you think bit of an off the cuff question, but has he been like really powerful in the moves that you've made in your career, or the choices that you made for the different roles you've gone for, or businesses that you focused on, or has that just come naturally to you and what you've wanted to do?
It's always been my choice. I've always gone after things. Maybe if I've gone for a role and I've been successful in 2 roles, and I'm choosing which one to go for, I might go, which one do you think? Which one gives me longevity? Which one, run it by him? But ultimately, everything is my decision. But yeah, it's a good sounding board.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what advice would you give for other part qualified accountants that are aspiring to be finance leaders?
So number 1, you have to complete your exams. I know how hard it is working and doing exams, and it seems never ending at times, but it's so worth it. It does open doors. It really, really does. It gives you that grounding, and it's given me that grounding to move on. You have to keep up with your CPD. I know it's boring at times, but there's so many different things you can read and get involved in. So keep up with your CPD. I always tell people, promotions don't land in your laps. Your manager doesn't necessarily know you want to be promoted. So it's really important that you put your hand up and say, I'm keen to